All right, everybody, welcome to the Stratford Warriors Report podcast. We're after Christmas, 2 big wins on the weekend. Got a great show for you tonight. Joining us first, Director of Hockey Operation for the Stratford Iron Steel Warriors, regular guest on the show, Jason Clarke. Jason, welcome.
Hey Les, how are you?
All right, and I was saying to him before the show, this is a big coup. We got Nick Parr, General Manager of the Warriors, joining us for the first time. It's like we're dealing with like a king or something.
Yeah,
coming on the show with us.
big celebrity. Yeah, he's been a hot item. Everyone's waiting to see him and hear from him. So it's
That's
great
right.
to have
Nick
him join
Parr,
us tonight.
welcome to the show, Nick.
Hello, gentlemen.
All right, guys, let's start with a wrap-up of the weekend. Friday night, 6-2 win there over the LaSalle Vipers. It was a good game. It was a close game up until that 9-minute mark there of that second period, guys, and then the 2 goals in 17 seconds sort of changed the tide of that game, did it not?
Yeah, it did for sure. I thought we were real good Friday night. LaSalle's a tough team. They always played us tough, and we got a little bit of recent history with them with the switch to the new division last year, and then we drew them in the playoffs. So, we've seen a lot of each other over the last 12 months, and they're always a tough out. And but I thought our guys were really good, especially coming back after the break and having to knock off a bit of rust with not having a game in a couple weeks. So, overall, I was really happy with what I saw from my seat Friday night for sure.
Nick, it was nice to see Jackson Broda, who you just brought into the team, contribute right away.
Yeah, Jackson was a nice addition to come in. As I've said, those are always nice phone calls when you get those this time of year. And he definitely stepped right in and didn't miss a beat at all with our group.
Yeah, we had Brandon Bax on the broadcast, and he said it was like a late Christmas present for Stratford and the fans. And I said, yeah, and it showed right away. He had that sort of slap pass there and the tip to get the goal there.
Yeah, I think he looked, he looked
point.
like he fit right back in, right? And, he played with Joe Curtin, and,
yes.
It looked like Joe and him have been playing together for quite some time. Right, they've had maybe a practice and a half together with a few reps, and then I thought they were real good all weekend.
Yeah, I had a lot of people mention that they love that pairing out there with Curtin and Broda. You could see a few times they got together and talked about what was going on because, he knows the systems and everything, but it's a completely different group now for him.
Absolutely.
I got 1 goal to show, and it's going to be that Colin Galbraith shorthanded goal to finish off the scoring. Over to the far side. 4 seconds remaining in the first power play. Blocked there by Hayden Frayne. What a play. Stratford now only down by 1.
Not only blocked it, we were able to get the puck and clear it out of the zone.
32 seconds. Colin Galbraith's going to walk in on windmill. Colin Galbraith
scores!
Short-handed goal. Colin Galbraith. I think that's his second of the night, is it not, General?
It is so.
Colin Galbraith. All right, Colin Galbraith with the short-handed goal. It usually takes a lot to get the General excited, but he was excited on that goal.
Yeah, it sounded like you guys might have both spilled your coffees there.
Yeah, I think Hayden Frayne really made that play though with the blocking to get the puck down the ice. We were down 2 guys at the time, so that was good to see Frayner put the body on the line. The 3 stars for that game: Colin Galbraith with the 2 goals, Q Haylock with a goal there in the middle, and Max Wildfong had a couple points. I'll move on to Sunday afternoon. 7-3 North Perth, the Battle of Perth County. Max Wildfong on the board again. Colin Galbraith with 2 more goals. Ever since he scored just there before Christmas, now he's getting the bounces.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I think Colin, he just works so hard. I think we're all excited when we do see him get rewarded that way. And early in the year, everyone was rooting for him to be rewarded, but I think it just, I do think the scoring's in our group, and I think it's with guys like him that are just working hard, and eventually it's got to start going their way. And we're seeing some rewards there that hopefully carry on.
And it was nice to see Quinn Kiffer got back on the goal scoring sheet there Sunday afternoon as well. As long as Jonas Schmidt keeps piling up the points for this team, and he's been leading on the ice. And I just thought we saw a lot more discipline play by the Warriors Sunday than we only had 4. It took 4 penalties Sunday compared to the 7 on Friday night.
Yeah, which is not typical to a game up in Listowel, right? Like it's usually a pretty spirited game and lots of penalties both ways. But it was nice to see our group, stay composed and back to Cohen. To Nick's point there, he's just a kid that you just work so hard all over the 200 feet of ice. He plays the game the right way. He had a ton of chances early on the season when he was a little snake bitten. And it is so rewarding for us to see him finally get rewarded with scoring some goals here. And a big weekend getting 4.
Yeah, I talked to his dad there after the game Sunday, and his dad said, look, he gets hit twice, two big hits. Friday night he gets hit, scores 2 goals. Sunday he got walloped in the corner down there. I didn't think he was coming back, but he came back and he had 2 more goals. Good on the kid.
He laid out a big hit himself the very next
shift.
He did.
Right? He took a number.
Yeah.
Same thing Friday night. Colin Slattery took a hit down in the corner, took the guy's number, and then followed him into the corner on the next play, coming back the other way, and played the body on him. One player I've been really impressed with is Aaron Green moving up to the forward. But playing with those 2 guys, they have a lot of familiarity with each other from earlier seasons playing with each other. But he gets that open ice hit at least once a game now. Yeah. Have you guys noticed that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Greener's he's really stepped up his physical play, and he's a guy that's really versatile for us. He played in the playoffs last year, a bit of forward, and again, now he's getting an opportunity, getting moved around the lineup, and he plays both games this weekend on forward, but yet he still is on the back end on our power play. So really versatile guy, and he's been a real great piece for us.
I think it speaks to our group with guys like him, like he's just willing to do whatever we need. He's no questions asked. Where do you need me, coach? What can I do? And I think we've got a dressing room full of those guys. Yeah,
and it's great to see. We did get some points from the back end too. Joe Curtin had another goal the other night. Like we said, Jackson Broda with 4 assists over the weekend. The stars for the game there in Listowel, we had him at Jonas Schmidt, a few points. Colin Galbraith again with 2 goals, and Quinn Kiffer with a couple points there. This is the first week I had trouble picking 3 weekly stars because the points were spread so wide. We had 13 players with a point or more over the 2 games. My 3 stars for the week, Colin Galbraith, the 4 goals, 1 shorthanded goal. Jackson Broda, first weekend back with the 4 assists, and Colin Slattery with a goal, 2 assists, and he played well on the penalty kill. Quinn Kiffer, is there. They played well on the penalty kill as well. I've noticed that with this team, we can pretty much send any 2 forwards out there, or a forward and a 2 defensemen out there to kill these penalties, and it seems to work out. It doesn't matter who we put on the ice.
Yeah, it's a very deep group, right? And we had a staff meeting a few weeks ago, and we talked about it amongst each other. It's been a few years since Nick's put a team together here where the coaching staff really is just rolling everybody out one after the other. There's certain guys that play in certain special team situations a little more probably, but as for the 5-on-5 play and the PK, you just said it right. It's next 2 guys up and away we go, and we've been really, really solid. So that's real credit to the group and how deep they are and how hard they work.
Yeah, Nick, putting this team together, you were able to get a good mix of young kids and veterans to come in and play this game.
Yeah, a little bit of a lot of that is just luck. Things, as one piece falls into place, it triggers the next one for that domino to fall. That I wouldn't say over the time Jay and I have worked together that we have a complete layout in May of exactly how the roster is going to look. We just start chipping away at it and it comes together. And fortunate enough this year we have a really good group that we haven't had to tinker too much with. We're just trying to, some scoring would help. But what did you say? There was 12 or 13 different scorers?
13. Yeah, 13 point or more.
If we got 13 scorers each weekend, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I was talking to Friday night. A gentleman come up to the booth, and I was talking to him, and he said he was talking to some of the St. Mary's kids, and they were they're playing well over there in St. Mary's, and then another guy, a friend of his, said he goes, the one line he picks out is that Galbraith, Murphy, Marshall line. They said no team really wants to play against that line because they just don't stop. There's no quit on that line.
Yeah, they definitely. are a very hardworking group, and I would believe they're very, very struggling to play against for any of our opponents.
Yeah. All right. One last thing, or a couple things there. Colin Galbraith, Performer of the Week in the GOHL. Good to see him get the recognition he deserves for the week.
Yeah, for sure. It's great. I mean, anytime you can have a couple goals a game or a 4-goal weekend's a great weekend. And, I think at the end of that stat line there, right, one was shorthanded and one was a game winner. So real important goals he's scoring too. It wasn't, the 7th goal and a 7-2 win. Not that that's lacking or not giving that goal any credit, but, he scored some really important goals amongst his 4 this weekend.
Also there, look at the power rankings. We moved up 3 spots into number 7. So, we've been able to stay in this power rankings all year long, which is a credit to both of you for the team you guys put together, and a credit to our coaching staff, because the way when I watch the game, you can just see our coaching staff. They just roll the 4 lines. It's really, they really don't have to worry about who's on there. I know at certain points you want your best player, your face-off guy, own zone or something like that, but there's so many guys out there that are doing it this year for our team.
It's a real deep group, right? Like we continue to say that week after week in discussions we have. And, the one thing about this team is they work so hard, right? And so, past years or year after year, there's always, 2 of the lines going or 2.5 of the lines going or, through 2 or 3D going. And, it would bounce back and forth between each night. But, this year, really, it's like cracking the barn door. I've used that term a few times this year when talking about the hockey club. You crack the door and there's 20 guys just itching to go. So that's a really, really good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, I would over how many games are we in?
29.
29. Out of 29 games, from watching here, I don't think there's been once that I thought maybe we could have been a little better, and it was very early on, probably in the first weekend against London. I thought we could have been a little better down there, but other than that, I haven't left the rink thinking we couldn't have beat a team we were playing or we weren't right in there with them. And I would look at we haven't really mentioned them much, but we got 2 really good goalies back there. We can play either one of them. It takes lightens the load on both of them, and again, we had both goalies in this weekend too, right? Both come away with a win, and both were tested at times that they just kept us in striking distance of winning when the game was close.
Yeah, I would say Friday night, right after we scored those 2 goals, Noah Bender made a toe save down at our end. I think if that puck goes in, it might have been a different game, but he makes that quality save. Then Sunday afternoon, Gage Hurst made some phenomenal saves.
Especially in the first. He was real big for us right there.
The last goal, I talked to him about the last goal, and he said that was just tough luck. He thought he had it and didn't know where it went after it hit him. And
I forget where the third one was. I thought maybe the second one on the PK kind of got not no fault to his. The puck kind of died out in the middle of no man's land, and he was in the middle of a save that he had to regroup on, and that's just bad puck luck on a goalie.
Yeah. Well, the third one was off the pad, and then it just sort of goes over up in the air and in front of the guys coming at the net, right?
Yeah, he did make a real nice save there, and unfortunately, it didn't stay out. But he made many saves throughout the night that game could have went the opposite way, especially in the first.
Yeah, he did. I thought he played they both played well on the weekend, which is nice to see. We need that goaltending coming down the stretch here.
Yeah, and to know that you have, if you do something and you have to rest one, you've got the other guy there to go. That just hopefully we can get in deeper by not having to run one guy night in and night out.
Yep. All right, we'll take a quick look at the upcoming games. Wednesday, we make that last long trip of the season down to LaSalle for a 7 p.m. start. Friday will be a test. Elmira Sugar Kings come to town. That's a 7:30 start. And then Sunday we travel back. We go to Kamoka for a 7:15 start. We'll be on the air 5 minutes before each of those games. It'll be nice to see the LaSalle trip done for the year, unless we meet them in the playoffs again. But it's here nor there. I know the players, they get the bus legs. I get the bus legs as well.
Yeah, we'll want everybody to get off and be ready to go. Those are 2 big points in this division, and we've already given up 2 points to them once this year. So really important to have a really good start down there Wednesday, and then 2 really tough tests.
Yeah, and
Friday,
playing
Saturday.
Playing them back to back to back within 5 days. They're going to be ready for us, I think.
Yeah, the game got a little chippy too, right, towards the end there. So I expect there'll be some heat in this game here Wednesday night, and I'm just hopeful the guys are ready. And like Nick had mentioned there earlier, they've been ready for all 29 starts so far this year. So we just hope that they're ready to go here, and we can bring some points home with us.
All right, and one last game to look at. Just want to get everybody aware. Friday, January 16th, 7:30, St. Mary's Lincoln's come to town, battle Highway 7. That should be a good battle and another test for this club. Like I tell everybody, you got to beat teams behind you, but you also got to try and beat and play well against the teams ahead of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Ahead of us, I'm not sure our games in hand will allow us to catch any of them yet. We can get right into striking distance, but we have to beat them in order to climb over top of them.
Those games,
teams ahead, they're all very good teams.
Yeah, you say those games in hand, but they don't mean anything if we don't win the games in hand.
That's right.
So we got two to four, I think 5 games on two teams in the league in our conference. Everything else is about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So, but the Saturday night game will be the last of 5 games in 9 nights. We're also going to do that again come the first weekend of February there, where we're going to play 3 home games at home. And I've told everybody it's the rivalry weekend because you got the new rivalry with Chatham on the Friday night, the old rivalry with Waterloo on the Saturday night, and that's a 6:30 start, people. 6:30 on Saturday, and then 4:30 on Sunday. You get the St. Mary's Lincolns again, so that'll be a tough weekend.
Yeah, fortunate enough we're at home for all 3 of those, so they're sleeping in their own bed. But it's we have shorter and shorter turnaround time in between each night. So
I just might sleep in the booth that weekend, and
we'll get some dogs on for you.
All right. Well, after a perfect weekend, that's good. Jason, press release came out yesterday. You're going to step down at the end of this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So
just go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to talk a bit about it. It's just that time for me. I started thinking about this last season and talked to Nick a little bit about it, and ended up staying on for one more season. And I think it's just time for me. I've accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish with this hockey club. Short of winning a Sutherland Cup championship, I really, really wanted to do that when I took this role. We did get to Game 7. Everyone knows about that. We lost here at home to Leamington, but super, super proud of that group and everything that happened that season. And overall, I'm very, very happy with everything that has happened here in the 5 years. And Nick and I have been together right through it all here. And I really think it's time for Nick as well to move on with his responsibilities and his role. And I think the hockey club is in a great spot. I feel comfortable leaving, and Nick, I've said this multiple times too, and he's one of the hardest working guys, if not the hardest working guy in hockey, and with the general manager role. Definitely in our league. I mean, I'm biased because we work together for sure, but he probably puts about 10 nights of work in within the 7 nights of the week for the hockey club, and does a lot of stuff on his own that other guys and other teams aren't doing. So, I'm really, really happy to turn things over and move on with my life and be a real fan of the hockey club here. Obviously, it's a great feather in your cap being a Stratford guy and being a part of this hockey club. All 3 of us on here are Stratford guys, and we grew up as young kids and young hockey players. Coming to the rink on Friday night to watch the Carleton game or the Warrior game, depending on your age. And to be a part of this historic franchise is really something that's special to me, and to be able to hold the various roles I've held. I've been very, very proud of what I've been able to do and what I've been able to accomplish with the club. So, it's just time for me, and this will be around the back half of my last season here. So,
yeah, it's not goodbye. We'll see you around the rink still.
Oh yeah,
more than likely, because you're a hockey guy, right? You're always in and out of the rink.
Nick, never say never.
Yeah. Nick taking on the new role. You're going to take on both for a bit. We talked about this. I know your plans are up in the air. What you're going to do, because you're self-professed as a guy that's hard to work with.
Yeah, that would be very true. I think first and foremost, I'd want to thank Jason for everything coming on 5 years ago when we met coming out of COVID, and we met up at the Rotary Complex. There was, my resume wasn't as deep as other guys for him to take me on, that he gave me opportunity, and I learned so much working with him that one of my tasks will be trying to convince him to take on some sort of role here, but we'll finish off the back end of this season and see where it lands. I really hope the group can check off that last box for him this year, and we'll work very hard to accomplish that as we do every year. But I think there was a good foundation when we took over from Glenn and Phil, and we just built on top of that. And I think Jason's leaving a fantastic foundation and building here for us to work with moving forward. I don't think I have to rush into any decisions. We can. I think when Jay took over coming out of COVID, he had to put a lot of pieces in place. We had to rebuild an entire management crew and all of that. But I'm in a different situation here. And Jason won't be too far away. He said he's stepping down, but I'm pretty confident I can get a phone call into him here and there that he'll be there to assist and advise.
Yes, that's for sure.
One of the funny things I said to Nick about this, him being the GM and the director of hockey ops, when he has to fire the GM, he has to come on the podcast and do it live.
Yeah, well, yeah, I look forward to that. I'll tune into that one.
That would be an interesting one. Jay, you've been 30 years or more around this game. At the bottom of the screen there, you can see some of the things I was able to pull up. A great record, 121 wins, 46 losses, 10 overtime losses, 2 shootout losses that are this year. This is the first year in your tender we've had shootout losses.
Yeah.
Cherry Cup Championship, like we said, Southern Cup appearance, Game 7. Cherry Cup Finals the next year. We just ran into some tough luck against Listowel that year. And you did a lot with other organizations too, minor hockey and the Aces.
Yeah. I started out coaching my brother way back in the days was at the SMHA and Stratford minor hockey. And, I played my whole minor hockey career here in Stratford, and, I loved giving back to that organization. It's always been great to me. And, met some great people in there, spent a few years coaching with the legend Angie Nigro in Stratford minor hockey. And, all the coaches that I had were such great people to me that, it made me want to give back when that time came for me. So I worked my way through there, and then I actually moved on with a guy everyone, the Warriors know, Jason Lott. Him and I went to the here in Perth Lakers, and we coached a bantam team there. And, I did some more work through minor hockey with some clinics and stuff with Mike McLeod, who everybody knows here as well. And then I went to coach in Listowel with Dave Williams. That was my first coaching job here in this league, and lucky enough to capture a Cherry Cup there as well. We finished 7th that year, but we had a team that was really clicking at the end of the regular season and did a lot of damage in the playoffs there, and we were able to capture that franchise's first Cherry Cup. So, that was a great moment in time for me as well, working with Dave. And then I spent a long time in Stratford Aces organization. I coached my daughter, and I held various roles on their executive board, including the president for a little bit, and just met so many great people in the game, no matter what organization it was in. And then towards the end of my time with the Aces, I came back to Stratford, and I was actually coaching I believe it was bantam with the Aces and coaching the Culletons at the same time. So that was a time in my life I needed about 10 days in a week as well to capture everything. It was funny. It was able to mirror our schedules with the Aces. Our team practiced Monday and Wednesday from 8 to 9, or maybe 8 to 9:30. And so I would get off work and get to the rink for 6 o'clock for the Warrior practice, spend 2 hours on the ice with the Warriors, then just get my skates off and whip up to the rec center to do another hour with the girls every Monday and Wednesday, and then all the games on top of that and plus work. So that was a trying time in my life, and I love doing every piece of it, and I really have to. I was talking to someone else today about it, and I said I really, really have to thank my wife and my daughter for the amount of support that they've given me to do this for, the majority of my life, really. I've been going to the rink and been involved with hockey in different teams, and it's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of it. You kind of crave it each and every day when it becomes such a big part of your life. And I've just been so lucky to have met so many great people and have so many great relationships in the game throughout all the different organizations I had. And I think back to two guys that I spent so much time with in the Aces days, Glenn Dunseith and Rob Gilchrist. We coached together for so many years and had so many laughs, and they each had a daughter in the team as well. And the girls that I see are all young ladies now starting their careers, and remember them as 8 and 9-year-old girls going to tournaments and having all the fun that we had there as a parent group as well. It's really memorable. When the news broke yesterday, it brought back a lot of memories that I'd probably forgotten about with a number of text messages I got, etc. So it's just been a great time for me. I've loved every minute of it. I really enjoyed the coaching. I really enjoyed the management side here too, as well. Scouting was a great part that I really enjoyed too. I did a brief stint back in the days when Nelly and I were going to rinks together. He was working for Central Scouting, and I did a bit of work for the Sudbury Wolves. And, that was a really fun time for me too, as well as scouting for this hockey club when I had that role. So that was another great piece, and just it's just a different thing, right? Doing versus coaching and building practice plans, etc. So all in all, it's been a fantastic run, and I really appreciate the time that you're giving me to speak about it. And, I can't wait to watch Nick carry everything on here in Stratford, which he's going to do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think Nick's set up perfectly for the job and everything. I want to thank you personally, Jason, for giving me the shot that you've given me with the organization to be the voice of the Warriors, both you and Nick. The support from both of you guys has been great. Fabulous.
You're very, very welcome.
The only thing, Jason, you're going to have to show Nick is how to send me that roster. Because usually when I get it from Nick, it's in 5 pieces, and
yeah, we can do that.
It back together.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Just have to train him on that.
Maybe we'll keep Jay on board for that, and he can do the podcast and the interviews.
Yeah, he could just send me the roster.
Yeah. As long as I can keep my RinkNet access, I can get you the roster.
That's right. That's perfect because it works out. Usually it's there right away.
We
do have a printer up in the press box now.
Very nice. Well, that's good for the teams that are late getting it on the system there. But
it was Friday night. I think it was like 5:30. It didn't show up. So we
got
a printer up there now.
Les. You're very welcome as well. I mean, for the amount of work that you put in for the hockey club as well, and all the traveling you have to do, we thank you very, very much for everything that you've done for the club and the exposure that you've given to the hockey club through this podcast as well, and the Armchair Chirpers last year, or the last couple of years. It's been fantastic. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and you've been a great guest, and I hope you'll continue to come on if we need you next year, because Nick might not be available. He might be too busy. Or he'll try and send Nelly in his place. And then the one thing, Jason, the one thing I have to ask you about scouting with Mark Nelson. TU always says when he scouts with Mark Nelson, he has to do all the work.
Well, you know what? Nelly's very focused at the rink. He's quite quiet when he's watching a game, and he's keeping notes, and he chats between whistles, and TU is usually the life of the party. I don't get out near as much as I used to, but I love spending time with both those men, both great guys that have been in the game an extremely long time and have a lot of hockey knowledge. And I love chatting with TU or Nelly each and every time I see them out on a scouting trip.
Yeah, I had Nelly on the broadcast in St. Thomas when we were having connection problems, and everybody says, when are you going to get him back? So I'll have to get him back one Friday night, come up to the booth, and we'll get Nelly back on, because he's always great for a story here and there.
Yeah.
Another guy on the team that's been there a long time, Phil Westman. You've worked closely with him a lot of years.
Yeah, for sure. Phil is a fantastic guy and a really dedicated man to the game and to this organization. Nick alluded to it earlier that we had a great building block to work off of when we took over these roles here, and Phil for such a long time has been a staple on that bench at the Alman Arena, and all the all the hours that he has put into this hockey club, whether it be coach or manager or director of hockey ops. He's just a great man. He's a great human. You know what I mean? He will do anything for anybody, and people that know him know what I'm talking about. And Phil is always a guy that will be there for you. So we were quite happy to be able to bring him back, Nick and I, when we discussed this a couple years ago now about getting Phil back on the bench. And I believe it was a meeting we had at Krabby Joe's, actually, with Phil. We had him come out and meet us and talk about some of our ideas and listen to him. And, I'm very thankful, and I'm sure Nick is, if I can speak on his behalf, that we're very, very happy that Phil came back and has joined our group. And he's been great for the kids as well, right? He's always in a good mood. He's got some great stories. He's got some fantastic lines that we can't say on the podcast. And puts a smile on everyone's face, and he's been fantastic.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Going back to just Phil in general, I mean, I seen him when he helped out with the U16s in the Laker program while I was running the U18s. Well, he didn't help out. He ran the U16s while I was doing the U18s. And even there, just he's very respectful when he talks to anyone. He has a way of delivering news that people respect the message coming. He's very well liked, and he's very selfless. Like, he's never thinking of himself. I'll go to that meeting we had to bring him back onto the coaching staff. I called him just on the phone to see if we could set something up and briefly chat with him about it. And even on that phone call, he thought I was calling, and he's advising me on all the players he had and which guy we should go after and who's landing here. And I had to stop him about 15 minutes in and say, Phil, that's all great news. Okay, we really need that, but I'm actually here to talk about you and see if we could sit down and discuss how to bring you back into the organization. And I think he enjoys coming to the rink, working with everyone. He's always talking to guys. I just don't think we can say enough good things about him.
Yeah. Jason, of course, another one you've worked really closely with for a long time is head coach Dave Williams.
Yes. Dave and I have known each other since our days in the SMHA, right? I was coaching, Dave was coaching a group that was a couple years behind the group that I was coaching. And I know Dave personally, just from, being two Stratford guys. And, when Dave...
we're all about the same age, right? So
Yeah, exactly. So, my first time really coaching with Dave was when he took on the head coach role in Listowel, and we connected there, and he brought me into Listowel. So we've had some really, really good success together as a team, whether we're on the bench together or in this role, or I've been scouting for the group. So he's a super dedicated guy. He's works very hard, spends a ton of time at the rink as well. And year after year, he tries to put a winner on the ice, and at all costs, he'll do what it takes. So it's been a great relationship with Dave over the years, working with him as well. And, I wish him nothing but the best after I move on.
I think he is the longest tenured coach in the Go.
He probably would be.
I think he is.
Yeah, I'd have to look around, but
I looked around. I didn't see anybody else, but that's just my quick assessment this afternoon.
Yeah, well, he's been around. He's been around the Go like almost 25 years, right? I mean, he did step away a bit at Laurier, but other than that, he's been in this league for a long, long time.
Well, he's been Stratford for 10 years now, so he's
very well prepared. I mean, I can't say much about other coaches' rooms. A few of them that I might have been around for the U18s here and there, but he comes in very prepared every Monday and Wednesday and heading into the weekend. I think that would be a hard to match with anyone else along the way.
Yeah, that's great. Nick, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you're probably busy tonight. trade deadline coming up and anything. Just so you know, since January 1st, there's been 45 transactions in the go.
Yeah.
So I think this week might be as wild as last year, if not a little wilder.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year that'll be more of the norm, especially in the West. Although a lot of stuff's happening in the East right now, we're seeing a lot of
yeah, we're seeing a lot of that in the East.
Because you how competitive the league is, though, right? Like nobody's out.
Yeah.
Right. Like Sarnia, at 0-31 or whatever they are. I mean, they've had a really tough go this year, right? But outside of them, especially in the West, I mean, everybody, I would think, has a weekend like we just had where you win 2 games and put 4 points on the board. You could jump a couple spots. So, everyone's trying to hold their cards and make themselves better.
Yeah, and I said this. We said this on the broadcast again last night. The Jason Clarke line. It's better to be the hunter than it is the hunted.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure it is. And I think Cambridge is living a bit of that this year, right? They've had it really good for a long time here, and everybody's gunning for them. And last year in our division it was St. Mary's, and then when they got in the playoffs, they got in the deep water there. And they got into a couple game 7s where things tighten up. And, I think it's good to be challenged and have adversity throughout the regular season than to have a season. Now, although it's very nice to get through a season with you get 5 losses or something like that. But, I think it's good to see adversity and see what your team's built of and play some tight games and lose a couple games you probably should win. Those are good lessons to learn through the first 50.
I mean, I think our group's battle tested too, right? Like, we obviously have the trade deadline to get through and see where everyone stacks up after that. But this weekend was a nice luxury to have some scores spread out heading into the third, and that we went into many third periods down a goal or up a goal or tied. And just hold on and see how we wake out, right? That.
Yeah, like in my opinion, we've played all 12 teams. We can play with all 12 teams. It's just a matter, can we outscore all 12 teams on any given night? That seems to be the issue here and there. With the 4 points, we tied London, but we move into 4th with the games in hand. That we have. Finishing in the 4th spot or higher is probably what we really want to get the home ice advantage, at least in the first round, Nick.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's my phone going now.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. That's where we want to finish in the top part of the league there.
Yeah. Because we can finish up there. You get home ice at least for the first round and maybe even the second round, depending on what happens. Because we know, come the playoffs, anything could happen.
Yeah,
we've seen it before where 8 upsets 1 and stuff like that. We've been on that end of it as well.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk to both of you about. We go to we win the Cherry Cup your first year, both these year. We go to Game 7 of the Sutherland Cup. Then the next year we come back and you guys had 5 returning players. So you guys really had to start from scratch that second year. And then we march all the way to the Cherry Cup against Listowel. Did all the pieces just fall into place with that team?
I mean, Jay can allude to more of it, but I do think the people, the personnel we have to scout for us do a very good job of having, kind of that players in order of 1A, 1B, whichever. We know what our options are if we lose this player or that player. That a little bit of it is luck for sure, but it's also them putting the work together to put guys in camp for us to evaluate and decide how we want to move forward.
Yeah, and I would just add that, luck follows hard work, right? You're not very lucky too often when you don't put the work in. So, it's a credit to all of our staff. It's to Nick and the scouting staff for putting the bodies together, and then, our coaching staff on building throughout the year through practice and in-game adjustments, etc., to get that group ready and march us all the way back. And, we marched back to the Cherry Cup finals, and that Listowel team that year, if I can call them, they were a wagon, right? Like, they were a really good team, and if they were clicking, they were a really, really tough team to play against, even though we thought we were playing well. When they were hitting on everything, tough group to play.
Yeah, we did lose Matthew Purdue late or in that playoffs round, but Carter McDougall came in, and even though we lost 4-1 in that final series, he stood on his head for 5 games.
Yeah. And if you recall, we started that season with 2 completely different goalies who didn't make it to opening, or one made it to opening night. We, again, that's the luck where we were able to replace pieces as we needed to going down the stretch.
Yeah. I had somebody ask me the other day, when I said Nick's going to be on the show finally, they said they want to know about the Owen Wilmore, how you got him to come to Stratford, and then we went on that big run to the Cherry Cup.
I just begged him for about 6 weeks. That was the answer. There was a very long process. Not so much that he didn't want to be in Stratford, but I don't think he wanted to move that far away from home and that far away from the Knights at the time. He was considering trying to be closer, as that was his goal, was to get into their lineup. And it just we just tried to keep preaching that I felt we were in a place that we could challenge and go the distance. And I was very adamant with him that if the Knights ever called, he would be going there, and we held true to that promise all the way along. That
he played a lot of hockey in the playoffs.
He did. Yes, he did. And I think he was hurt in the first round that year too. He didn't dress in we played the Bombers. I don't think he even dressed in that series. Maybe game 4 he got in for a period or so to test him out, but he hadn't played.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on tonight. Jason, you end up your career with 3 Cherry Cups. A good career. You've done everything ever asked for you for this league. You're very high, well regarded in this league. There was a lot of comments on the fan page about you stepping down. And I had somebody message me and they said, well, what's wrong with Stratford? I said, nothing's wrong in Stratford. It's just time for him to step away from the game.
Yeah,
so
of course, everyone thinks it's something negative, right?
Everybody thinks there's always something wrong in Stratford.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, that was the question, what was wrong in Stratford? Well, there's nothing wrong in Stratford.
It's good to be hated.
Yeah. Nick Parr, I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
It's nice to get you on here. We'll have to get you a regular visit next year on the broadcast as well. You're doing an excellent job with the club, and I thank you for everything you do for me, as well as the club. And Jason, all the best of luck in the future. I'm sure we'll see you around. I don't know how much your wife's going to like you being at home, but we'll have to see what comes of that.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge here. We've already discussed where I'm going to have to go on a Friday night. But thank you very much for having me on. And, I appreciate the time and the chat as always. And, I'm not going too far, so I'll still be around to answer some of Nick's phone calls and maybe do a guest appearance on a future podcast.
And send the roster when I need it, because Nick can't get it through
the roster. Yeah, we can get it done.
We co-own a hot dog roller, so we will have to show up.
Yeah, for sure. I won't miss those.
All right, guys. I'm going to get through this sooner or later.
Lester, you got to get some meds in you, brother.
Oh, my God. I've been on every med you could think of.
Jeez.
I've had more antibiotics in the last 3 weeks than I think they make. So
yeah, God.
Just got to get through a couple more broadcasts, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's not getting any quieter for you.
It's not getting any quieter. All right, gentlemen, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
I hope we have a good week coming up, and we'll see everybody at the rink. Good night, everybody.
See you, Les.